Hey everybody, I'm Tim Mooney with the Timothy Mooney Repertory Theater, and today I'm continuing to work my way through my acting textbook, Acting at the Speed of Life, Conquering Theatrical Style. Over the last several weeks, I dove in to explore chapters 1 and 2, all of which you should be able to find somewhere on this same website, and today I'm going to take a look at the first little chunk of chapter 3. This is one of the longer chapters, so we're going to break it up in digestible chunks around the topic of asides and soliloquies. Here's our opening teaser quote. Everything that we think of as being theatrical style drawn from a period that is distant and seemingly unrelated to us has its parallel in the modern world. Chapter 3, Asides and Soliloquies. Being seen has particular relevance in the universe of stylistic presentation. This universe is unapologetically outside the realm of reality. It lives in the spirit of a time in which theater's proper role was more than a forum for thought and ideas, but also a source of news and understanding, when there were no television serials, news programs, movies, 500 channels of cable TV, or an infinite internet. Scripts were largely copied out by hand and rarely available to the public at large. Papermaking, introduced by the Chinese, was not widely used as a medium for writing until the 3rd century, and Johannes Gutenberg did not invent the movable type printing press until 1439. How rare would the possession of an actual book have been for those first few centuries? How expensive? The theater confronted the same big questions of man's existence that the church addressed, but in a secular frame of reference, without the guidance of a central text or Bible. The script became the central text, and the performers became the priest-shaman interlopers between the audience and the knowledge of that Bible. No wonder actors were repeatedly condemned by the church simply for being actors, which is not to suggest that actors did not effectively earn their bad reputation on occasion. They sacrificed their being to a text that was secular and not sacred. They allowed themselves to be possessed by something outside of themselves. The farther back we trace the performance style of previous ages, the more we find that the material was presented rather than represented. In the representational theater, I let you, the audience, in on a representation of the life of my character, all the while pretending that you, the audience, are not there. In the presentational theater, I present to you, the audience, an expression of what my character is about, with full awareness and even acknowledgement of your presence. I take my aim at you every bit as much as I aim at my comrades on stage. New question. What is the difference between a soliloquy and an aside? The soliloquy is to yourself, the aside is to the audience. The aside is to a character other than the one you're talking to. The aside is short, the soliloquy long. You're dancing all around it. In a soliloquy, I'm alone on stage. The clue is in the word solo is part of soliloquy. I may be talking to myself, to the audience, to God, to some manifestation of my moral conscience, or to some imagined other party. Doesn't matter. The two keys to a soliloquy include me being alone and me talking. In an aside, someone else is on stage with me, but when I speak, they do not hear me, no matter how close they may be, nor however distant the most distant audience member who hears me perfectly may be. Soliloquies. In a soliloquy, the actor, alone on stage, delivers an extended monologue. The soliloquy's usual intent is to work out the solution to a problem. A scene has left me filled with conflicting ideas, and I must work through this complicated tangle. The audience may remain present in my mind, and I may be working through my thoughts with their assistance, looking to them for reassurance or direction, or I may fight this battle alone, but always available to their sight and hearing. Representational actors may still find a way to motivate that speech from within. I'm just thinking out loud, they suggest, but with that mindset, they may well end up muttering the words to themselves, looking everywhere but at the audience. Shakespeare never wrote the word pause as a stage direction, and any occasion for me to work out my thoughts in my own head as part of my own internal work or subtext or inner monologue would be extremely rare. A soliloquy is not a meditation. The discoveries are happening even as my lips continue to move. It is brimming with action. Shakespeare was always writing for an audience which feels itself in the active role as witness to an event. And that's our first little chunk of Chapter 3. That was mostly to give you a little bit of perspective about soliloquies and to get you ready for a bit of a mind-blowing look at asides coming your way very soon. Again, if you just can't wait for another week to go by, pick up your own copy of Acting at the Speed of Life, Conquering Theatrical Style and read your way ahead. And if you enjoyed this episode, please hit like or subscribe or tell a friend. And finally, my breakneck versions of these plays are all available for booking across the United States, or you may find many video versions of my one-man shows available for rental or purchase at breakneckshakespeare.com. Thanks for joining me. See you on the stage.